All right, everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something pretty incredible today, a life that literally spanned 3 centuries. Can you believe that?
It's amazing, isn't it?
We're talking about the world's oldest person, just recently passed away at 116 years old.
116, wow.
Yeah, we've got this article, Farewell to a Centenarian Legend, and, it really got me thinking.
About?
It's more than just, like, living a long time, right? It's about the changes you witness over a whole century.
Absolutely. This person saw the world transform in ways we can hardly grasp.
Imagine, born in 1908, horse-drawn carriages, no internet, World War I on the horizon. I mean, it blows my mind. What would you even ask someone who's seen that much history?
So many questions. Where do you even begin? I mean, just picturing the world back then, it was a completely different pace of life.
Right, and this person lived through it all. The article lays out a timeline. It's almost like a history lesson in itself.
Yeah, like born in 1908, then you got the Roaring '20s, the Great Depression hits, and then bam, World War II. It's one major event after another.
And they experienced it all firsthand. There's this story in the article about how during World War II, they had to flee their home. Imagine having to rebuild your life not once, but twice after both wars.
It's just, the resilience is incredible.
Totally. But what I found really interesting is that the article connects their long life not only to, surviving these events, but also to their lifestyle.
Yeah, like what were their secrets?
Well, it seems they were a big believer in the Mediterranean diet. Lots of olive oil, vegetables, fish, which actually lines up with a lot of research today about healthy aging.
Right. It's always fascinating how those traditional ways of eating often turn out to have real benefits.
Totally. And it wasn't just diet. They were physically active their whole life. The article mentions daily walks, gardening. They kept moving.
And we see that over and over again in longevity studies. Movement is key. Even if it's just moderate activity like gardening, it adds up.
Makes a difference. And it's not just the physical stuff either. There's this quote in the article. It's like, a kind heart and a smile are the best medicine. They really valued connections, staying positive.
Which, again, is something we see in research today, right? Positive thinking has a real impact on health and longevity.
There's a whole field dedicated to it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much our mental state affects our physical well-being.
It's all connected.
And it makes you think maybe longevity isn't just about genes or even lifestyle, but also about, like, a mindset, a way of looking at the world.
It's like that saying, choose joy. It sounds simple, but maybe there's more to it than we realize.
Right. And the article actually distills this person's life down to 3 key takeaways.
Oh, I'm curious. What are they?
1, cherish every moment. 2, stay curious and adaptable. And 3, value relationships above all else.
For someone who lived over a century, to have their wisdom summed up so simply, it's powerful.
It really is. It's like a reminder that no matter how much the world changes, those core values remain important.
Absolutely. And it makes you think about our own lives, our own experiences with change. What's one thing that's had a big impact on you? How has it shaped the way you see things?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. To think about how their lives have been shaped by change, just like this incredible person we've been learning about.
Exactly, because ultimately this deep dive wasn't just about a long life. It was about a life well lived.
So I know you're super into dinosaurs, right?
Oh, yeah, totally fascinated by them.
Well, I was reading this article about the largest dinosaur footprint site
Oh, yeah.
ever found in the UK, on the Yorkshire coast.
Wow.
And get this, these are from the Middle Jurassic period.
Really?
Over 160 million years old.
That's amazing. Isn't that a time when we don't have as many, fossils?
Yeah, it's like a rare glimpse, right?
Yeah, like a little time capsule almost.
A time capsule, though, with giant footprints, right?
right.
It's not just a couple of prints here and there.
What? No. This is, this site, it actually spans several kilometers of coastline.
Wow.
And it's not just the size that's impressive, it's the variety.
Okay.
So we've got footprints from massive herbivores, those sauropods.
The long-necked ones, right?
Yes, the long-necked giants.
Yeah.
And we've also got 3-toed tracks of carnivorous theropods.
Okay, hold on. So you said massive. How massive are we talking?
So some of these sauropod footprints are over 1 meter in diameter. Yeah, think bigger than a car tire.
That's so crazy.
I know. They estimate, based on footprint size and spacing, that some of these creatures could have weighed over 100 tons.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine the ground shaking
Yeah.
as one of these giants lumbered by?
So it wasn't just like a few prints here and there. It's like a whole dinosaur highway.
It was a busy place.
Yeah, with those massive sauropods. And then on top of that, you have theropods running around.
Exactly, exactly. And those three-toed prints, that's the telltale sign of a theropod.
Right.
And these weren't, tiny little robins hopping around. Some of these theropods were formidable predators.
Right.
Now, of course, just the footprints themselves can't tell us if they were actively hunting the sauropods or scavenging or, just passing through.
Yeah.
But it definitely sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
It does. It's like this prehistoric detective story, right? Like trying to figure out what happened.
Yes.
And they're using some pretty incredible technology to study these footprints, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They're using 3D scanners
Oh, wow.
to create these incredibly detailed models of each footprint. And this allows them to measure, tiny variations in depth and contour. And these variations can reveal clues about the dinosaur's gait, weight distribution, even the type of ground they were walking on.
So it's not just about the shape of the footprint. It's about all these other details that we might not even notice with the naked eye.
Exactly.
But you mentioned earlier the arrangement of the footprints.
Yes.
What can that tell us?
So the arrangement of the footprints can actually tell us a lot about dinosaur behavior. For example, some footprints show clear evidence of group movement. Imagine, a herd of sauropods,
Oh, wow.
young and old, all moving together across the landscape.
Yeah.
And, we can also see how the spacing and depth of the footprints change, giving us insights into their speed, weight, things like that.
It is like analyzing a crime scene, isn't it?
It is.
But instead of a crime, we're piecing together the movements of these creatures from millions of years ago.
Exactly.
This is really helping to fill some gaps in our understanding of the Middle Jurassic, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Middle Jurassic fossils, as we mentioned, are relatively rare.
Yeah.
So this site is providing crucial information about dinosaur diversity, behavior, and ecosystems of that time.
It's like finding a missing piece
It is.
of a giant puzzle.
Of a giant puzzle, absolutely.
And this discovery also highlights how important it is to protect these amazing sites, right?
Oh, absolutely. Coastal areas are vulnerable to erosion, rising sea levels, effects of climate change.
Yeah.
So protecting sites like this is absolutely vital for preserving our paleontological heritage.
And, I was also interested to learn that this was a big team effort, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I read that local fossil hunters actually played a big part in this discovery.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic example of citizen science in action. Local enthusiasts found some of the initial footprints, and they've been working alongside scientists to document and study the site.
That's so cool.
It's really inspiring to see that kind of collaboration.
It is.
And shared passion can lead to incredible discoveries.
Yeah, what's next for this site? What are scientists hoping to learn going forward?
Well, researchers are continuing to analyze the footprints, mapping their distribution and orientation to, really try to reconstruct the ancient environment in even greater detail. And they're also working on creating digital reconstructions of the site and even life-sized models of the dinosaurs.
Wow.
Which will allow people all around the world to experience this discovery virtually.
That's amazing. So we're really just getting started, aren't we? With uncovering the secrets of this incredible site.
Yeah.
It's incredible how footprints alone can reveal so much about the past, isn't it?
It is. That's the beauty of paleontology. There's always more to learn.
Yeah.
And each discovery has the potential to, really change our understanding of the history of life on Earth.
I think that's a great place to leave it. It really is a monumental find.
Yeah.
This Yorkshire Dinosaur Footprint site, it offers such a rare glimpse into a lost world.
It does.
It makes you wonder what other stories might be out there waiting to be unearthed.
Absolutely.
New Year's Day in Vegas, this is still kind of recovering from all the partying the night before.
Yeah.
Right? And then, bam, a Tesla Cybertruck explodes right outside the Trump International Hotel.
Wow. Yeah.
Not the kind of fireworks anyone was expecting, right? But this is what we're doing today, taking a deep dive into this whole thing.
Yeah, this is a crazy one.
It is, we're not just going to cover what happened, though. We're going to try to figure out why this happened.
Yeah.
And what it all means.
Yeah.
It's a heavy story, for sure, no doubt.
Absolutely.
But I think sometimes, understanding these tough events helps us make sense of things.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to face the hard stuff head on, right?
Exactly. So let's get into it. What makes this incident so wild is that it wasn't an accident. This wasn't just some random thing.
Right.
This was planned, and the driver, Matthew Livelsberger, U.S. Army Green Beret, he meticulously planned this whole explosion. He packed his truck with fireworks, gas tanks, camping fuel,
Right.
and even rigged it all to a detonation system.
That's intense. It wasn't just a, whim of the moment kind of thing.
No, not at all. And what's even crazier is that the Cybertruck, with its super strong stainless steel body, it actually kind of contained the blast.
Right. The irony there is pretty hard to miss.
It is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this vehicle designed for durability,
Right.
might have actually saved lives in this tragic situation.
Yeah, it really makes you think about, the design and the innovation of it all and how there can be these unintended consequences. Like
Right.
the Cybertruck's resilience is amazing. It shows how good the engineering is, but then it's also part of this terrible event.
Yeah, a double-edged sword for sure. And tragically, Livelsberger, he took his own life right before the explosion.
Yeah, it's a lot to process for sure.
It is. You say he was a Green Beret, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he must have seen and experienced things that most of us can't even imagine.
Absolutely.
And he was dealing with PTSD.
Right.
Now, just for our listeners out there who maybe aren't familiar with that PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, it's a mental health condition, and it can develop after someone experiences or witnesses a terrifying event.
Yeah.
It's really serious. And for Livelsberger, it seems like this explosion was a desperate attempt to draw attention to the struggles that he and maybe others like him were going through.
Yeah, it seems like he was trying to make a statement, And
Yeah.
while the FBI, they got involved initially because of the nature of the explosion, it became pretty clear quickly that Livelsberger acted alone,
Right.
driven by his own personal struggles. And Sheriff McMahill, he came out and said there was no ongoing threat to the public.
So not a terrorist attack,
Right.
but a deeply troubled individual,
Yeah.
making a devastating statement.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, especially when you consider that 7 bystanders were injured in the blast too.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine just the chaos and the fear that must have erupted on what should have been a celebratory day?
I can't even imagine.
But this brings us to something really important.
Yeah.
We can't just dwell on the explosion itself. We have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Totally.
And that's where mental health comes in.
Absolutely. This tragedy, it really underlines how urgently we need accessible and effective mental health services.
Right.
Especially for veterans. They carry so much with them, the unseen wounds.
They do.
Yeah.
So what can we even do as individuals to address this? I mean, where do we even start?
Well, I think a good first step is understanding that mental health is just as important as physical health.
Right.
We need to change the way we think about it. So seeking help for mental health issues, it's normal, it's encouraged. There are organizations out there, hotlines, resources specifically for veterans, anyone struggling with mental health. But it's also about recognizing the signs, being supportive as friends and family members and advocating for better access to care.
Yeah.
It's got to be a collective effort, a societal responsibility.
This whole thing, it's also a stark reminder that technology, it's not always good. It's a double-edged sword. The Cybertruck was built to withstand extreme conditions, but it ended up being part of this tragedy.
Yeah, you're right. It brings up a lot of questions about ethics and technology.
It does.
Innovation's moving so fast, we have to think about how to prevent misuse.
For sure.
It's not about stopping progress, but it's about being responsible with development and how we use things.
Exactly. So looking back at everything we've talked about today, this explosion, it was more than just a news story.
Yeah.
It was a tragic event, but it brings up these complex issues, mental health, especially among veterans,
Yeah,
and the ethical challenges of technology.
absolutely. And it leaves us with a question.
It does.
In this age of, incredible technological advancement, how do we make sure that technology serves humanity, not the other way around?
It's a question we all need to think about. And if this conversation has resonated with you at all, remember, there are resources out there. Reach out, offer support, even just listen. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can make a big difference.
I agree.
Man, tough way to start the new year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That fireworks incident in Hawaii, New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
it's just,
Awful. Awful.
it's tough to shake off. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think everybody saw those headlines. 4 lives lost.
Yeah.
2 of them children. Over 20 people injured.
Horrible.
But we're going to take a deeper dive today. We're going to go past the headlines.
Yeah.
We're going to try to understand
Yeah.
what happened. What can we learn from this?
Right.
What can we take away from this tragedy? When we see fireworks, it's
easy to forget that it's a control. They're essentially explosions.
yeah,
Each one is a little
exactly.
precisely controlled explosion.
Yeah.
And when you lose that control,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with those big
Right.
professional grade fireworks,
Yeah.
the consequences, the results,
Can be catastrophic.
devastating.
Catastrophic.
Okay.
Devastating. And that's exactly what we saw here.
Yeah.
Right? This wasn't some,
Right.
city organized
This was an unauthorized
fireworks display.
This was in a neighborhood.
Right. In a neighborhood.
And what we're seeing come out is that it was illegal fireworks.
Yeah.
Improperly stored.
Yeah. And
And
it's interesting to note the patchwork
Yeah.
of laws regarding fireworks across the U.S.
right.
Some states are very, very strict.
Yeah.
Only allow sparklers and
Novelty.
the little, novelties. And then other states
Wide open.
are much more lenient. And this case really brings up the question.
Yeah.
Do we need a national approach?
Yeah.
A more unified national approach?
It's a really good question. Because even if...
Especially since
Yeah.
fireworks can,
They cross state lines.
They can be easily transported across state lines.
Exactly. And, I can be as safe as possible, but
Right.
the guy next to me might not be.
Right.
Right.
And we saw the consequences.
horrific.
Horrific.
Hmm.
Some of the witness accounts are just gut-wrenching.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
1 minute you're watching
Yeah.
beautiful fireworks display.
Right.
The next minute, it's an inferno.
Just chaos.
And the chaos,
the terror.
imagine that.
Yes.
The impact on the community is immeasurable.
Yeah.
You've got
Oh, it's huge.
the initial physical trauma,
Right.
the emotional trauma,
Scars, yeah.
the scars,
No,
and it goes beyond that.
Yeah. There's the
The ripple effect.
ripple effect.
Hospitals get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Businesses are shut down.
Yeah.
And that lingers. That fear,
That unease.
that unease.
lingers long
after the smoke clears.
the smoke clears. Absolutely.
And it makes you think, where is that line?
Yeah.
Where's that balance?
Right.
Where we want to celebrate.
Right.
We want to have fun,
Of course.
but we need to do it safely.
Absolutely.
And we see this trend. Fireworks accidents are going up.
Oh, yeah.
Thousands of injuries every single year. And it makes you think, are we?
Are we becoming desensitized to the risk?
Immune to the risks, right?
Yeah.
And, I think if you look at the history of fireworks,
Yeah.
there's always been this tension, right?
Yeah.
On the one hand, they symbolize celebration, joy, awe.
Right.
They bring people together.
Right.
But there's a long and dark history
Yeah.
of accidents
Misuse.
and misuse.
And now you throw in social media,
oh, right.
and
There's
everyone's trying to one-up each other with these
these crazy, these
elaborate and often dangerous DIY fireworks displays. It's like
Right.
common sense goes out the window
goes out the window, spectacle overrides.
for a cool video.
Safety.
Yeah. And it really does make you think about personal responsibility.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes, we need stricter laws, regulations,
We need better enforcement.
and enforcement.
Yes.
For sure.
But ultimately, it comes down to us
To each of us.
as individuals.
Yeah.
Making
Guess so.
smart choices.
Informed choices, right?
Understanding the risks.
Understanding the risks, following the law.
Following the law.
Right.
Safety over spectacle.
Right. Safety over spectacle.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
one of the things that really struck me
Yeah.
amidst all this tragedy
Yeah.
was the outpouring of support
Oh, yeah.
from the Hawaiian community.
Yeah.
The fundraisers,
The donations.
the messages,
The messages of
condolences.
condolence.
I mean, that's a testament to the human
It's
spirit. I mean, it really is.
resilience of people. It's incredible.
It is.
Even in the face of such unimaginable loss,
Yeah,
communities, they come together.
they do.
They support each other.
They rally
They rally.
and they find that hope,
they find hope. Yeah.
amidst all that despair.
Amidst all the despair. It's amazing. It's powerful.
This is a powerful reminder.
Yeah.
I mean, this incident,
Yeah.
it reminds us
Yeah.
of the devastating power of fireworks
When things go wrong.
when things go wrong.
Yeah.
And we need to have this conversation,
Right.
this discussion about safety, regulations,
Informed.
enforcement.
Yeah.
What role do we play,
Right. What role do we all
you and me,
Yeah.
in preventing
Preventing these future tragedies.
these future tragedies?
Yeah.
And I think a good takeaway
Yeah.
for everyone listening
Yeah.
is how can I
Yeah.
be an advocate for safe practices
Yes.
in my own community?
In my own backyard.
Right. Could be talking to my local officials
Yeah.
about stricter firework laws.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
Educating.
educating my friends and
Maybe
family
it's just you nice people.
about responsible
Yeah.
celebration.
Absolutely.
You know, it's
Yeah.
every little bit helps
It all makes a difference.
It all makes a difference. It really does.
towards a future where we celebrate.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that joy
Yes.
doesn't come at such a high cost.
It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Be safe out there.
Be safe.